What's going on, everybody? I'm not sure why it looks all fuzzy. There we go. Hey, I'm Jan, and this is Tai Chi to the People. And we are back. We've been on a little hiatus. And Tai Chi to the People is presented by Justice for Hire, the cinematic universe that we're building with a community, meaning it's a show we're producing together. And anyone can join the cast, and you can do that right now from justiceforhire.app. So, Tai Chi, it's a martial art if you don't already know this. Oftentimes, people call it meditation in motion. I've meditated since childhood, and I would not consider Tai Chi to be meditation. But I do consider meditation mechanics and Tai Chi mechanics to be complementary. And today, that's going to be the focus of our training. So, and of course, every week, before I forget, every week, most importantly, is our training is dedicated to the good cause of the week, the noble cause. And every week we pick a different charity. Sometimes we stay with one charity for several weeks at a time. This week is No Kid Hungry. And we've worked with No Kid Hungry before. We promoted their wonderful noble cause before. And I highly recommend that if you enjoy this training, please go to their Instagram page, No Kid Hungry, at No Kid Hungry, and donate. These trainings are always free, always open to the public, even if you're not part of the Justice for Hire cast. But if you like it, like I said, please donate to help make the world a better place. And of course, part of making the world a better place is training. So what I've been working on, I often share what I'm working on with my team. You know, I'm Coach Jan. I coach the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team, the grappling aspect of the slow meditative martial art. But I oftentimes would go into a team practice and say, hey, you know what I'm thinking about, know what I'm working on, and we would start to workshop these ideas, and then to see if they work, that they actually are practical in a martial setting, more specifically in a sports competitive setting, and if they are repeatable, and how to repeat them, how to drill a particular technique so that it comes out in an instant when you need it. So one thing that I've been finding in my own practice in the last few days has been, and this is normally how my life works anyway, but I've come across some really interesting sound mechanics. And the first sound mechanic that I ever encountered in Tai Chi was the concept of growling. My coach, Josh Waitzkin, author of The Art of Learning, and I highly recommend checking out his past as a chess prodigy and as Marcelo Garcia's first black belt. He and his teacher, who is also my teacher, Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, would talk about growling. And before we would get on into a match in a ring, whether it's against our teammates or in competition, we would growl. We would engage, I believe they called it the goblet, engage here like a wolf to jolt adrenaline into the body to help get you ready for the match. And so that's something that stayed with me. You know, I don't know all the science behind that. I was trying to look that up a couple of days ago and didn't find much on my 2-page Google search. But I'm not too worried about finding a lot on that right now. I used it in the past, and I had, my team and I have several world titles, and something's working there, and maybe that, maybe not, maybe other things. But that being said, that is a core component to how I train these days, pretty much in anything. Like if I need to really psych myself up, I'm growling, and that's all up here. And if you are a Tai Chi player, and we'll get to some movement in a second, but I want to talk about this first. If you're a Tai Chi player or a competitor, you know that you do a lot of stance work. You do the Neigong. You might do the Neigong. Not all the competitors do this, but you might do the Neigong exercises, standing, breath work, and visualization. The breath work and visualization is so important, but this new layer that I'm really starting to uncover in terms of sound is super interesting to me, because breath work, visualization, concept, meaning not just intent, but what the intention is. So as an example, White Crane spreads his talons. This is a Neigong exercise from the Yin set of Neigong, from the Wu style of Tai Chi. And it is the the fifth exercise in the yin set Nikon. And we'll do this exercise for a moment, and I'll show you what I mean by layering in sound. And as a matter of fact, right before we do this exercise, I will share what I found this morning or the day before yesterday, which is the concept of so hum. So hum is something I've heard of since I was a child, along with om. So when you chant om to calm the mind, the vibrations, the sound vibrations in the brain, etc. Mr. Corey James Gray has just joined us. What's going on, brother? This is a very important concept. So the concept of om and the concept of so hum, these really particular esoteric meditative practices and how they can be brought into the Tai Chi system. So I've been working on doing exactly that. And I'm happy to talk a little bit more about the om and the mechanics, the more precise mechanics of om. And I'll, to go over that quickly, inhaling with the concept, the intention of the ah. So om is often spelled O-M, but the actual pronunciation is A-U-M. And so the A is the inhalation, which is the intention is to ground you to the earth with the inhalation, the ah. But the U sound is the concept of connecting to heaven or to higher power. And the M specifically should sound like a plane disappearing in the distance. So this is a new mechanic that I've read before, but it didn't really click with me until Sunday, 2 days ago. So inhaling with the ah. The U is the loudest, the M is the softest. One more time. That concept of om, again, this is Tai Chi, but I want to share this because it connects to the next concept, which is the so hum, which I think literally translated means I am he. So that you are, and he meaning like God awareness, higher consciousness, etc., the source of all things. I am that. So the so is the inhalation, and the hum is the exhalation. And every breath, this is something that I was reminded of yesterday. Every breath should be so in and hum out. Now let's take that idea and let's connect it to our Tai Chi breathing. And of course, in our Tai Chi breathing, oftentimes when you train with me, you know, I say, hey, like we start out with our palms facing down, imaginary strength lifting up. So we immediately start getting to body mechanics. We allow the body to be lifted from the crown. I'm using my hair as an example, so that the body dangles, as if the whole body is dangling and the tailbone points down. The weight shifts to the heels. The weight shifts to the heel. So if you have your weight on the balls of your feet or your big toe, you want to bring it back to the heels to be in a more passive state. You're in a more aggressive state if you're in the balls of the feet and the big toe. If you're a director, you know that if you want a film director or a television director, you know if you want a more aggressive performance out of your actor, you tell them to stand on the balls of your feet, the balls of their feet. If you want to get your money back with a receipt at the counter, you stand on the balls of your feet, you hand that receipt over. You don't stand on your heels. So right now we're doing the heels to be passive and calm. The mouth is closed, the tongue is on the ceiling of the mouth, and as you inhale, you draw the breath into the belly, more specifically 3 finger lengths below the belly button into the lower dantian. The lower dantian is one of 3 dantians focused on in Kung Fu and Tai Chi, one here, and one here. But they are part of the 7 chakras, or the 7 major chakras in yoga and the yogic system. And there are actually tons and tons of chakras throughout the body, but the 7 major chakras. So it's the 2nd chakra. The lower dantian is the 2nd chakra, the orange one on those yogic chakra charts. So you're inhaling into that point using the base diaphragm, mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. And you give this sensation of breathing a color. So this is the first layer that's unique to the training I've had. I really haven't found many people that do this, but you layer the breath with a visualization with your eyes open. So you're imagining and seeing, feeling, and experiencing the breath going in the belly with your eyes open as a color, whatever intuitively comes to you. When you exhale, you push that breath up, split it at the shoulders, it goes down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Again, today's training is a little bit more part talk, part training, because this is a very particular concept that I'm still working on myself. So I'm sharing it with you as a practitioner, not as much as a coach. I'm in the process of figuring this out for myself. So inhaling deep, exhaling down. And to be specific on what I'm figuring out is the concept of layering in the sound, the idea of the sound with so hum. Let's go directly into our half horse stance with feet shoulder length apart, shoulder length and a half apart, and you're seated on your heels. Again, you're seated. This is a half horse stance as opposed to a full horse stance down here, like in Kung Fu or karate or Taekwondo. We're in a half horse stance. This is white crane spreads his talons. We're inhaling. Breath is going to pull the fingertips back. And you can stand if you'd like to give the legs some rest. Notice that my elbows are down rather than out. And you massage the temples with your fingers. And you exhale, push forward, in and out. You can sink down as you do this as well. I've adjusted my body to be closer to the camera, so this is not the most realistic posture. I will back up in a second. Inhaling in, exhaling, pushing forward, in and up. Gentle grab. Inhale, pulling the breath in. And exhale, pushing forward, in and up. So I want to talk about the layers here, because Tai Chi is layers of what I used to call visual infrastructure, which is still very true. But now that I'm adding the auditory component, there are just simply layers. So layers of infrastructure. So first and foremost, you have the concept of the breath catalyzing the movement. The breath is pushing the hands forward. The breath is pulling the hands back. And then you have the concept of the breath visualization. So as you exhale, you're not just letting the breath motivate the movement, but you're visualizing the color pushing through the palms, coordinating with the movement. And then inhaling, the color pulls back into the fingertips, into the belly as you do this. Now, I will say, before I continue, any one of these layers is something you can work on for a while. Some people, it may not come naturally for them to allow the breath to motivate the movement, and that takes time. Anytime I've strayed from Tai Chi for too long, it takes me some time to get back into coordinating, connecting my breath to my body. And there's a difference between connected breath, meaning seeing that the body's moving with the breath, and disconnected breath, which is what most people do. This is disconnected breath. You see a boxer just doing this, and it's great. Sometimes you really feel the intention, but the breath may not be connected to every movement. That's not to say they can't hit you really, really hard, but we're talking about something very particular, the connected breath. You can always see when someone is moving, or you can train yourself to see when someone's moving with connected breath. So this is connected breath here, drawing it in, exhale, pushing it out. The color visualization is the second layer, or another layer. You can do them in any order. I'm just giving you the order in which I was trained, or which I came across the information. Now, the third is the concept of the weight. When I exhale, not only is the breath motivating the movement and I can feel the color, but I'm pushing something very heavy away. And then when I inhale, I'm pulling something very heavy in, almost as if I'm pulling an elastic band or taffy, something sticky, pushing something very heavy away, like a boulder. And there's no flex in the arm. What I mean by that is that it's not like dynamic tension, where you'll see the karate or kung fu guys go, ah, that kind of thing. That is awesome. And I did that this morning, but that's not what this is. That is different. This is all in the mind. The tension is all in the mind. The weight, I should say, is all in the mind. And you want to have minimal tension in the body while doing this. You want to be very relaxed, very soft, exhaling, pushing the weight, feeling the weight, all in the mind, very heavy. Inhale, pulling it back. Very, very heavy. So now, let's get to, and there's another layer there that's connected to the pulley system that we've talked about in the past as well. So this note that I'm about to give you might be confusing, and if so, disregard it. But if you have trained with me in the past and know about the concept of letting the breath pull the wrists like a marionette, essentially your breath is controlling a pulley system, moving the limbs. You can bring that concept in just as you lift the wrists and pull through the fingertips. So that's actually 4 layers. But again, if you are not familiar with that system, you can disregard that last note and again, focus on connected breath, visualization, and weight. That'll be totally enough. But if you want to do the pulley system, you can. So number 4 or 5, depending on where you are, is this concept of so hum. So the inhalation is the so. And the exhalation is the hum. Again, so hum means I am he or I am that. Again, connecting yourself to the concept of the intention, using this ancient mantra to connect yourself to the concept of ever expanding awareness. You are always connected to the higher power, to all things, and you want to program yourself to experience that at all times. Got a little, something stuck in my throat. So hum, defined as I am that or I am he, inhaling the so, layered on top of the previous steps, exhaling the hum. Inhaling the so, exhaling the hum. And again, the idea of so hum, it's as if you're saying it with the breath, but you're not moving the mouth. The intention is there. And these are very subtle concepts that actually require a great deal of mental strength to hold. Because I remember when I found, when it's just like the mental strength that's required, it's just like weightlifting. I mean, it actually takes time, and it takes time under tension to really get the depth of the strength. Because when I was connecting the breath work and the visualization at first, that was probably, I took to that faster. But there are students that I have that, still have trouble doing that. So, and you can do it in any order too. You might find the breath work, the breath motivates the movement, and you can do so hum at the same time, but the visualization is hard for you. Or the intention of weight can be harder or more challenging, or might be easier for you. Any one of those things that's working for you, connect them. Work on that part of this exercise. The principles apply to all the exercises. So you can easily work on that. And these are a fraction. There are still more layers that you can do, more specificity that you can get into while you're doing this breath work. And all that's happening when you get into the specifics is that you're speeding up your perception. And that's what I meant by it takes time to develop the mental strength for that, because you actually are taking in more data than somebody who is not doing these practices. So if I'm inhaling, and for example, I'm drawing the color of only my soft part of my arms, this is a technique we've talked about in the past. When I exhale, I'm only pushing it down the hard part of my arms on top. That's very specific breath work. And that's to be in alignment with traditional Chinese medicine and the concept of qi and how it travels in the body. But let's get back to so hum, and let's break it down into a more simple exercise, our uplifting heaven, which we normally do right after guilt killing. So inhaling, breath lifts the wrists. This is the pulley system we talked about. And exhale, washing the color to the palms and fingertips. Inhale, drawing in. Interlace, exhaling down. Inhaling out, drawing the color into the body. And exhaling down. Inhaling up. This time inhaling the so sound with the color. Exhale, pushing the color out and feeling hum, the sound of hum. Inhale, drawing the breath in, hearing so. Exhaling, hearing hum as you sink. Inhaling, hearing so. Exhaling, hearing hum. And again, you are convincing yourself. This is, I think, I can't stress this enough, that the intention to hear the sounds, to program what you want in your life is just one of the most important things you can possibly do. And it's an ability that we all have. And so some of you are very aware of this. So when it comes to the concept of so hum, you really program yourself to hear that. You program yourself to breathe and to feel the sound so, to hear the sound so. Deep inside, when you exhale, the same way. And your exhalation should be soft. It should not be hard or loud. So inhaling deep with the so sound. Exhaling hum. Inhaling so. Exhaling hum. So, exhaling hum. Now let's do that again, but this time I'll remain silent and we'll focus again. The breath work moves the body, pulls the color to the belly, and you hear the sound so on inhalation, hum on exhalation. Let's go for another one. Let's go for two. And let's sit for a moment. Sitting in, embracing the one, meaning your weight is on your heels, tailbone, rather than butt sticking out, tailbone drops down, shoulder blades disappear into the upper back while maintaining softness in the shoulders themselves so that they remain down rather than up, down, and forward. The elbows drop as if gravity is pulling the elbows downward, and the middle finger is a straight line from elbow to the middle finger as high as each shoulder. Inhaling, drawing the color into the belly through the soft part of the hands. If you trace the color as you inhale, trace it down the soft inside part of the body into the belly, lower down chin. When you exhale, push it down the hard outside of the arms through the fingertips, the nails and fingertips. And as you do this breathing, inhale so, hear so. Exhale hum. You can stay here about 6 or 10 breaths. If you find yourself standing up slowly, 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 sink and sit. Inhale deep and exhale, shifting to one side. And let's take it to another level with the so hum. And let's take it to an explosive level. Let's bring in our Shaolin line drill techniques. Sai Jiao, the first kick that you do in the Shaolin temple. And this kick, your leg work will be, you'll start out with one leg straight and your back leg is straight. I have keys in my pocket, let me get these out of here. And your one foot, just the toe touching down. The hands can be pulled to the chest or to the heels, to the hips. I recommend the hips because there's less tension when you hold the, there's more tension if you hold the hands up here. You'll never see me do that properly because I have scar tissue on both of my arms from birth and I can never turn my wrists all the way over. So I don't really compete in forms that much because I will be judged on my inability to do certain things. That being said, I'm saying that I've also never been able to do this properly, which does not mean that my point on tension is to be thrown out. You will gather more tension if you are flexing and lifting the chest out and pulling the arms back here. So for this exercise, the Tai Chi version of it, or my Tai Chi version of it, is to keep your hollow fist right at the hips. And you're going to exhale and push the color through the leg and kick, slap the leg. But when we do this, pushing the color through the hand and the leg so they meet at the same time, notice that we're talking about splitting the color visualization. So we're going to inhale and exhale and push the color visualization through the leg and the hand at the same time. We've already done this before in previous sessions. So what's new is going to be the concept of so hum. We're going to inhale so and exhale again in our mind the hum with the breath work and visualization going through the leg. So we'll do that 10 times and then we'll switch legs. Remember, inhale so, exhale hum, and as you exhale, you're pushing color out. As you inhale, you're pulling color in. So I am that. Another note, keep the leg as straight as possible and point the toe. If you're new to this technique, Sai Jiao is a straight kick, and rather than bending the upper back, you're bending with the pelvis rotating on the femur, meaning that the spine isn't bending as much as the hip area is bending. So less about the back bending and more about the pelvis rotating on the femur. And height is not necessarily as important for this either. It's more about straightness, being able to shoot the hand straight out and the leg going straight. Three more. All right, let's switch legs and we'll do so hum again, breath work and visualization included. So inhaling so, exhaling hum and pushing the color through the leg and through the arm at the same time. You're slapping the foot with your palm. The specifics here are protecting your thumb. You'll often see monks, Shaolin monks do this, Omi Tofo, normally with their right hand, normally only with one hand. But they're protecting their thumb, just like in karate. Even the pinky finger oftentimes is tucked in too. So the fingers are tightly together, but not flexed hard. You might see some people flexing in doing this. I recommend keeping it soft, but right before impact, a sudden moment of flex, about an inch or two before you impact on the foot. That's when you flex the hand to get that moment of solid structure as the two colors meet and connect and explode. So hum, so in, hum out, 10 times. Inhaling deep, exhaling down, and we'll bring it back to some cultivating breath work. This is Jade Rabbit watches the moon. You can stand up and exhale, sink and sit. Inhale, right hand over left. The right hand is on the solar plexus. The left hand both palms facing up, is right underneath the belly button. As you inhale with your second stage of your breath, left hand comes over right, and both palms are now facing down. Exhale, push the color visualization down. 1, even deeper exhalation. 2, flatten the color visualization in the belly. Inhaling stage 1, right hand over left. Inhaling stage 2, left comes over right. Exhaling stage 1, flattening the color in the belly. Exhaling stage 2, make room for more. Inhaling stage 1, right over left. Even deeper stage 2, both palms have turned. As the left comes over, as the left lifts up, notice that the right hand turns inward and then downward. Exhaling, compress. Exhale, even deeper, flatten. So as you inhale, the intention is to draw color into the belly, or more specifically, the visualization is draw color into the belly. The intention is to gather energy in the belly, and when you exhale, you, rather than releasing the energy, you store it. Inhaling deep, gathering in the belly. Exhale, you compress the visualization as if you're making it more dense with this movement. And then you flatten it and make room for more. That's a very specific program that you're coding into your experience. Inhale, draw the color in stage 1, even deeper, fill it up, very bright stage 2. Exhale, compress it, make it more dense. Exhale, stage 2, flatten, make room for more. Inhaling. So now, I'm going to add in the so hum concept. Inhaling so, exhaling hum. And that's a 2-stage so inhalation. So it's inhaling 1, stage 2, the so gets even louder. Exhaling 1, exhaling 2, the hum gets even louder. And when I say loud, I don't mean volume in terms of your breath. The intention should intensify. And you can stand as you do this. It's on the inhalation. Exhale, sink and sit. Inhalation 1. I normally stand on 2. Inhale deep. Exhale. Let's bring it back to the kicks and the concept of splitting the breath through the hand and the foot at the same time. Last time we did Sajal, which had the same hand and foot. We're slapping your foot with the same corresponding side, right hand, right foot. This time we're going to do opposites. For this exercise, you're going to kick, and it's a very basic snap kick. It's not like, in general, if you were fighting, I would say, when you throw the kick, you want to intentionally train yourself to bring the knee to the chest before you actually kick forward. That's not necessary for this particular shallow drill. You're just going to kick and punch at the same time. But the kicking and the punching are coordinated by the breath, and we're going to not only use the visualization splitting it between hand and foot, but we're also going to hear the so hum. So on the inhalation, hum on the exhalation. So inhale deep, we'll do 10 on each side. And inhale, exhale, inhale. And look, we can even slow it down a little bit. So you're going to exhale, inhale as you switch, exhale, inhale as you switch. And you really want to do your best to coordinate the hand and foot to reach the destination or to fully extend at the same time. So the inhalation is motivating, the breath is motivating that coordination. And you really are projecting the visualization about an inch or two beyond the knuckles for the hand and beyond the heel of the foot about an inch or two. So exhale, inhale. Hum, so hum. And you can do this even walking if you would like, meaning and inhalation can help you as you're dropping the foot down, as when you're pulling the breath in to roll it back out. But if you want to stay still while doing it, and 10 each side, from the side. Make it more intense. And as a note, with the hand, it's very soft, hollow fist, all the way through the extension, just until about an inch or two beyond before your full extension. And the full extension should never be a locked arm, meaning that you're locking your elbow, because you can hyperextend your arm that way. So you'll flex the arm, the hand, all the way through the arm, just before the elbow locks. So everyone will find a different version of that for themselves, but you want to be able to imagine a straight line or a reinforced line from these two knuckles to your elbow, from here to here. And when the breath work pushes out from the belly through the hard part out here, pushes out 2 inches beyond these knuckles. So you want your visualization to go beyond and out here. With the foot, it's less of a flex issue. You really are just pushing, and of course the thigh will flex to extend, but it's happening, it's a little bit different than the hand. So, or a lot different. So you can just project right through the heel for the foot. And let's do 2 more with those notes in mind on each side. And uplifting heaven again, inhaling up. This time even deeper. Exhaling down, hum. Inhaling up, so. Exhaling down, hum. Inhaling up, so. Even deeper, color gathering in the belly. Exhaling down, hum. Inhaling up, so. Exhaling. So now I want to do something a little experimental. And when I say experimental, I haven't done it in a while. And this is dragon style Kung Fu. More specifically, there are many different styles of dragon style Kung Fu. This concept is really connected to the undulating spine, the whipping of the spine. And I will say that if you have any back issues or challenges, you may want to avoid this particular exercise. Again, I have not done this in years. I'm going to do this for the first time with you in a while because it just came to mind and I felt like this might be something important to play with while doing So Hum. I do have aspects of this body mechanic in some of the forms that I do. And to show you the specific mechanic I mean, the whipping of the spine, as if the spine is a dragon's tail, and the pressure comes out through the hands, the arms. So you might be pushing the breath here in that way. And this mechanic, especially in Tai Chi push hands, the grappling, wrestling side of Tai Chi, you want to push someone out of a ring or throw them on the floor. So you might get to the edge of a ring and might need a little bit more of a blast to push somebody up. And sometimes you might need to step in and push like that. That happens all the time, and it's really important to look to dragon style as a aspect of the martial arts system that has perfected, or at the very least, has a lot of study on that particular body mechanic of the undulating spine, the whipping spine. So we're going to practice this slow and then start to speed it up. It's a great stretch for the back, especially for the intercostal muscles, especially for those intercostal muscles that are higher toward the collarbone, the upper part. I'm always interested in stretching this upper part of my chest, especially given the amount of stress that I deal with as an entrepreneur, as an athlete. So like this part can get very stressed for me, or very, very flexed for me. So I'm like, what are ways I can stretch this? And this is one exercise that's helpful. And again, it's also very martial. So what we're going to do, we're going to inhale, and we're going to inhale, drive the collar into the belly. And we're going to push the hip forward and lean the back, almost stretching it. This time is one of the very few times that in our training here that you're going to feel the concept of the chest pushing forward. You're leaning, arching the back, and exhale, you're going to throw the chest forward. From an angle, inhaling up, exhaling out. Notice the whip up and out, up and out. The breath work and color visualization should do the same thing. Inhale, draw the color into the belly. Exhale, wave it out. I have my right hand behind my left, or you can put I can put my right in front of my left, which really doesn't matter. We'll switch it to multiple techniques that do this. Lots of different techniques to do this, but you can have your hands either palms here if you'd like, which is totally fine as well, just to do a double palm press, which is really helpful if you're pushing someone's shoulders up and at an angle to get them over their own hips, to make them step back or fall back. Sumo wrestling, not just Tai Chi. Inhale deep, exhaling out. Inhale, draw the color into the belly. I'm just changing the angle for my body. Draw it up to the chest, and exhale, wash it out. I will adjust the camera so you can see from more standard angle. Inhale, drawing up. Exhale, shifting forward. And if you want, let's make this really practical. Keep your weight on your front leg as if you're boxing. So now we're adjusting the technique. You might be boxing. You might want to push someone up against the ropes or the ring, or cage, or out of a ring. So you have 70% of your weight on this front leg to claim your space, because you might be fighting mixed martial arts and need to have a strong base, especially to do counter wrestling or to wrestle. So with all of those concepts in mind, 70% of the way forward, we're going to relax our hands from that boxing position. And we're going to inhale and push the hips forward as if we're checking a hip. In judo, you check the hip to make sure someone's not going to throw you. So you check the hip. Same concept. Inhale, hip coming forward. And then we're going to exhale, shift forward. Notice that I'm not giving up space in my hip. I'm only taking space on the hip. And then I exhale and I drop my body forward. Inhale with the so sound. Exhale with the hum sound. Inhale, the color is in the belly, goes up to the chest. Exhale out. More specific. Inhale, color into the belly. My hip line is here, and it keeps on going forward. My hip line keeps going forward. When I exhale, rather than the hip going back, my body whips, the spine whips forward. Inhaling up, turn the palms right at your shoulder, meaning turn them out. They're in, and then turn them out towards your target. Push forward, in and up as you drop down. Inhaling up, take the space. Exhale, push forward, in and up. Let's switch sides. Again, boxing stance. My back heel is up. We'll make this really practical. You're boxing, boom, back heel is up, ready to fight, soften the arms. And now 70% of my weight is forward. So I really claim this space, which is very much a Tai Chi concept as well as Greco-Roman wrestling. So we're claiming this space here. You don't want to give up an inch unless it's intentional. So when we inhale, the hip comes forward like you're checking a hip. The color gathers in the belly and comes up the chest. Turn the palms out. Exhale, pushing forward, in and up as my body cascades down. Hands are going up as the body cascades down. It looks like you're overcommitting. Super important note. It looks like you're overcommitting. The thing that is keeping you grounded is actually this back leg. This back heel, if you feel an opponent start to pull you, you're going to anchor this back heel into the ground. And if you're a Tai Chi practitioner, you might know what this stance is. This is the Wu style stance, the original Yang style. This is one of the most rooted counter wrestling stances known in martial arts. This is very, very hard to wrestle against. I know that personally. I've been playing with wrestlers in this space, and it looks like you're overcommitting, but it's this back heel anchor concept that's going to keep you down. So if anyone had any thoughts saying, hey, Jan, you're too far committed here, know that that is always the strategy. The second you feel a pull here, you drop here. So with that in mind, inhale, hip coming forward. My chest is going up, my palms turn out. Exhale, cascading down, forward and up. And we're going to start speeding this up, inhaling up with the so, exhaling hum. Inhaling so, exhaling hum. From the front. Side. And now we're going to start whipping it out and really throwing the hands forward, in and up on an angle with the whip of the spine. So like that. Slowing it down and slowing it down. Right here. From a 45-degree, inhaling up, slowing it down. And feel the whip, especially if you're not used to this. If you're not used to this motion, this is going to be super beneficial for you. So, and if you are used to it, this is a new way of thinking about it. So, inhaling up, remember the whip is going to come from the exhalation in the belly and the cascading spine forward. Inhaling up. You're almost throwing, like you're throwing a baseball. If you feel that on one side, imagine throwing both arms, throwing a baseball with both arms. But then you're using the spine and even the belly. There's a slight contraction in the abs, but it's less about flexing the abs. You know, you can do that, especially if you're throwing, let's say, an elbow, and you might want to crack down on the elbow and contract the abs with the elbow. You might know that the contraction from there. But here, it really has to do with the breath and the hip movement. I really can't stress enough that once you take the space with the hip, you're not going to give it up by sticking the butt back. I just met a master in Chinatown who is a master. Not everyone has mastered everything. He's a master, but he was throwing his butt back while showing this technique. And I just posted this on YouTube last week. So he's a great guy, but that will lose you a game if you play with somebody that's that aware of space. The second they see that, if you're a high-level push hands player, the second you see that space, you're probably going to eat that space and throw your opponent. So you want to make sure when you take this space, you don't give it up, and then you go forward. Inhaling up. 5 more. So hum, so in, hum out. Color in, exhale, color out. And then switch legs, the other side. So now my right leg is going to be forward. Inhaling up. 10 times. And from here, inhaling up. So big breath, even deeper, even deeper. One big so. Exhale, hum. One more. And feet 2 fists apart. Inhale up. Breath lifts the wrists, drawing the so in and the collar to the belly. Fingers to the back wall. Chest to the ceiling, hips forward, point at the toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers fall. Soften the knee. Breath lifts the wrists, wrists up the body. Draw the collar to the belly. Inhaling, so. Hips forward, chest up. Fingers to the back wall. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees. Inhale. And then scoop white light into the belly. 1 foot forward. And exhale, wash the white light down the leg. Inhaling out. Switch legs. Exhale, wash it down. Inhaling out. Switch legs, this time 45 degrees. Exhale, wash it down. Inhaling out, switch legs. Inhaling out, switch legs 90 degrees. Exhaling down. Inhaling out, switch. White light to belly. Exhale down. Inhaling out, white light above the head. Exhale, wash it down the legs. So shoulder length apart now. Inhaling out, turn to your right side. Exhale, wash it down. Inhaling out, turn to your left side. Exhale, wash it down. And behind the back. Exhale, wash it down. And slap up the legs. Inside the arm, down the outside. Up the inside, down the outside. Over the shoulder. Down the back. Inhale in softly. Exhale down. Inhale in. When you finish Tai Chi, you always want to give yourself a nice massage. So first thing we do, you rub the hands together. Rub them around the chest. Inhaling into the belly and exhale, pushing the collar to the palm, warming the chest. And tapping around. Massage the fingers. Massage with the fingers around the pectoral muscle. Deep into the lymph nodes. And then tapping around the perimeter of the pectoral muscle. From your floating rib up, palm open, other hand extended out, and again, floating rib up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each one higher. Other side, hand out, floating rib up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 fingers on the sternum for the immune system. Up and down. U shape, either side of the collarbone. And then open the palms for the reproductive system. You're going to look up. And as you look up, you're going to feel everything soften in the reproductive system, opening up. So relaxation all the way through. And you're going to take your palm, and we're going to do both hands, use both of them. And we're going to massage up the throat all the way up to the chin. Like you're a New York cabbie. counterpoint for that massage is the back of the neck, like you're getting sand off the back of your neck. Hooking and squeeze, one for the hormones. And switch. The ears, massage. This is for your sleep. Up on the face, side. Up and to the side. Up and to the side. More for the immune system. Index and middle finger up, over, down, under, around the ear. Very strong pressure. Fingers to the scalp, front to back, back to front, front to back, back to front, to back, back to front. And grab the scalp, knead it like that, and reverse it. And reverse. Next one. Next one. Then reverse the direction. Each time grabbing a patch, going around 3 times, releasing. 4 fingers at the top of the forehead, a massage. 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse it. Temples, and reverse it. Under the eyes, and reverse it. In the groove between the eyeballs and the bones with your thumbnails, tap around. And the heart, switch. And switch. The side. So your fingers are going to press into the groove beneath your teeth, just below your gums. So between the bone and the gums, the top of the gums. So you'll press them in on both sides. You'll find all these pressure points there, and then you're going to go back and forth on them. And then tongue. And reverse it. Jaw, thigh, thigh, and then around. Reverse it. Flick your fingers out, thumbs out. Press and hold. 1, 2, 3. Other side, press and hold. 1, 2, 3. And go 1, 2, 3, and grab 1, 2. Last thing, take your knuckles and massage the kidneys down and then up. And then reverse the circle down. And then inhale, white light, the sound soak into the belly, and exhale, hum, spread it throughout the whole body. Inhale, roll it from the feet to the head like a waterfall or tidal wave. So in. Exhale, hum down from the head to the heels, down the back like a waterfall. Up the left side, inhale, foot to head. So exhaling, hum down the right side, head to heels. Inhale, white line to the belly. So exhale, push it to the top of the head, make a fountain surrounding the body. This bubble of white light. Hum. Inhale, white line to the belly. Exhale, down the legs. White light into the ground, and comes back up and around like a fountain reverse. Hum. And just have gratitude for the light, the body, the space you're in, the people in your life that are good, that blessed you. And thank you so much, as usual. This is Tai Chi to the People, presented by Justice for Hire. You can join the Justice for Hire Cinematic Universe at justiceforhire.app right now and help us produce a show with the entire world. And of course, all of these training sessions are always in honor of the noble cause of the week. And this week is at No Kid Hungry. And you can find them and donate directly to them on their Instagram page at No Kid Hungry. So please support if you enjoyed this training, and no pressure though. Of course, you're always welcome. The training is always free. So we love you. I'm Coach Jan, aka Jan Lucanis, and I look forward to seeing you next week. This is every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And we do it on Zoom. And if you don't catch it on Zoom, catch it on YouTube. Love you.